this edition of RPP News. Shocking homelessness statistics. The Shire pushes back on home care claims. And a big win for a local author. Hello, I'm Catie Sharp. Welcome to the latest edition of RPP News, bringing you stories from across Frankston and the Mornington Peninsula. Police are asking for community help with a crime caught on CCTV last month. They're investigating the theft of a defibrillator in Frankston on Sunday the 17th of July. It is believed the offender entered a business on Wells Street and stole a defibrillator, removing the life-saving piece of equipment from its position on the wall and leaving shortly afterwards in a vehicle. Investigators have released an image of a man who may be able to assist with inquiries and are seeking the public support to identify him. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Homelessness on the Mornington Peninsula has been described as the worst it has ever been. Speaking on RPP's Peninsula Talks program, Cara Vanderhyde of Southern Peninsula Community Support says there are likely more than 1,000 people sleeping rough across the region. Prohibitive rents and a lack of suitable housing are some of the factors driving people to sleep rough in what she describes as a hidden epidemic.
The homelessness on the peninsula is very hidden. It's not like in the city where you walk past in the street. Our homeless community are very hidden on the foreshore, in the bushes, and a lot of them are in cars and quite transient between all the different car parks on the foreshore. I work with clients from Point Nepean right up to Safety Beach.
Cara also revealed some shocking statistics for those hoping for public housing.
The wait list for public housing is dire. It's taking 4 to 6 months just to get a priority application approved, let alone get any housing. You know, that's maybe 2-3 years if you're over 55. Under 55, you're looking at about 10 to 15 years at the moment down here.
Meanwhile, local group Peninsula Voice has detailed plans for a series of 3 public community forums addressing the issue of homelessness on the peninsula. The first forum will be held at 6:30 p.m. this coming Wednesday, the 24th. All are welcome. The forum is free and will be held at the Peninsula Community Theatre in Mornington. The Mornington Shire has rejected claims that it is responsible for a lack of in-home aged care since it handed care responsibility to private providers on July the 1st. A recent report claims a number of Peninsula residents have suffered a lack of service since the handover. During a council meeting debate, speakers highlighted the role of the previous federal government and its legislative changes that forced the Shire and other councils out of the home care service space. Mayor Anthony Marsh talked to RPP after the meeting.
Ultimately, aged care has been and always will be federal government responsibility. We've been accused of outsourcing this and being a bit heartless, making effectively what's been said as a budget decision, but we haven't outsourced this service. We've effectively handed it back to the federal government after a change in the funding model. The public don't care whether it's local, state or federal government that are responsible for the delivery of particular services. They just want the services to be delivered. So we're empathetic to, I guess, the concerns of the community, particularly those that aren't getting these services at the moment. But ultimately, we've done the very best we can in a pretty problematic situation, and we are talking to the federal government daily to try to make sure that these issues are resolved as quickly as they can be.
A local author is celebrating this weekend after winning one of the biggest book awards in Australia. St Andrews Beach resident Andrea Rowe has won the Children's Book Council of Australia Early Childhood Book of the Year for Jetty Jumping. Illustrated by Hannah Somerville, it's a story of overcoming fears set in the very familiar peninsula setting of sitting on a jetty on the beach in summer. Andrea is also the president of the Peninsula Writers Club.
Who won the Early Childhood Award? And it's you! You've won!
No! What?
Really?
Oh my goodness! Hannah!
And Opera Australia is coming to Frankston. Featuring haircuts, beard trims and a matchmaking barber, The Barber of Seville will be performed at the Frankston Arts Centre with a live chamber orchestra and features a performance by the Melbourne Youth Chorale. Rossini's most famous opera is a musical masterpiece with a Hollywood rom-com storyline. This is opera at its light-hearted and effervescent best. Tickets are available at the Frankston Arts Centre box office and website. After the break, we have Nicola with this week's weather report.
Everyone knows Australia has 4 big banks. But the fifth biggest retail bank is snapping at their heels. It's a bank that's been around for over 160 years, can be found in over 500 locations nationwide, looks after over 1.8 million customers, and is regularly voted one of the most trusted brands out of all the thousands of brands in Australia. Who is this fantastic number 5? Yep, it's Bendigo Bank. The better big bank.
Established in 1988, Progress Signs has been servicing the local community for 30 years. Located on the Mornington Peninsula, they are the #1 destination for all your signage needs, specialising in a variety of signage from vehicles to shop fronts, occasional and corporate events, short-term, long-term and everything in between. If it's signs you need, be it large or small, Progress Signs is the place to call. Available 24/7 at progress-signs.com.au or call the team on 5975 9188. Thinking signs? Think Progress Signs, a station sponsor.
Hello, I'm Nicola, back with this week's RPP Weather Update. Well, as we told you last week, the rain has been falling across the peninsula. However, there has been some wonderful weather in between the showers. Yesterday afternoon, for example, was glorious. Well, let's check out the forecast from the BOM and see what's happening this week. Today, Sunday the 21st of August, saw a mostly overcast day with some rain over parts of the peninsula. Later in the afternoon, we saw a high of 14 and a low of 8. Tomorrow, Monday, should bring a lot of rain across the peninsula. Expect a high of 14 and a low of 8. Tuesday sees the rain easing a bit, with a top of 12 and a chilly low of 4. Wednesday, the 17th of August, sees the rain gaining strength again, bringing us a high of 13 and a low of 5. Thursday sees rain continuing to fall across the peninsula. We should see a top of 14 and a respectable low of 7. Friday sees the rain clearing, producing a mostly overcast day with a top of 14 and a low of 7. And finally, Saturday sees another overcast day with a high of 15 and a low of 6. Well, that's all for this week. Try to stay dry and warm, and I look forward to seeing you again next week.
And now to our surf guru, Muzz, with the Surf Report.
Hey, welcome to this week's Mornington Peninsula Surf Report. It's Muzz here again. After what can only be described other than a week or so of reasonable beach breaks, it's been a pretty average winter. We look like we're going to go out with a burst of big swell and west-norwesterly winds for the next week or so. Starting Saturday, we'll have a bit of an increase in the swell. Wind will go around to the northwest. There'll be waves in Western Port. There won't be anything special. Sunday it'll back off a little bit. There'll still be waves there. You might even go a little onshore. But then Monday, come Tuesday especially, looks like we're going to get a big front with a big blast of west or westerly, and there should be waves in Western Port. By the looks of it, it'll be definitely Monday afternoon, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe even Thursday next week. So, it's got a lot of ground to make up to make this winter any good, but, better later than never, I guess. So, should be able to get in the water if you're looking for waves on the Western Port Bay side, pretty much from, most days next week. There might be a little window of beach breaks at some stage too. A bit of strong northerlies. There's always a chance at ports you have something. So enjoy, and I will talk to you next week.
And that's all from our team here at RPP News, serving the community with stories that matter to you. Keep watching and do tell your friends. Bring you the news from coast to coast across Frankston and the Mornington Peninsula. I'm Catie Sharp. See you for the next edition.